Hey guys, my name is Kshitij and this is my first video on how to solve a LeetCode problem. So anybody who is preparing for interviews or just want to do programming for fun, this video is going to help them understand how to do this. So the problem which is which we are taking today is decode string, and the problem says that you are given an encoding string with a value called k, which says how many times that encoded string is repeated. So for example, if you are given something like this 3a, 2b, c, then you have to expand that string according to the value given outside the square bracket. So you have to make it like this. Now it's a very simple problem to understand, and how we can solve this is kind of very simple recursion technique. So what we're going to do is first we're going to consider how many cases we have here. So the case one we have is where we have a square bracket, opening square bracket. Second, where we have a closing square bracket. Third is where we have a character like A, B, or C. And fourth, where we have a number, like let's say 3 or 2, which basically is the count of how many times the string in the square bracket is repeated. So how we going to use the recursion technique to solve this? So we're going to iterate over this input string, something like this. So we're going to iterate on this input string from left to right till we expand each and every square bracket on the way. So for example, if the starting index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're going to start from the 0th index and we're going to see that which of these four cases relates to that particular index character. So if the first character is an integer, we keep it as a number so that it can be used to expand the following string. If it is a square bracket, then we use that part as an input to the recursion function, and then we expand that, and then we return the result and multiply that with the input number. So what I'm saying is, for example, if the first character is 3, we keep hold of that as a 3 as a number. This is the count in this particular case. And then we into the recursion function. For example, if the recursion function is this, which has a string s, we pass the uh, remaining string like this a, 2, b, c into this recursive function, and then the index from there starts with here from a. And if we find a character, we just append it to the string. And as soon as we find uh, a closing braces, then we just simply return that substring. To make it more clear, let me just draw it properly. So let's say the recursive function is this, and it gets the complete string here 3a, 2b, c, string s. First we keep hold of the count 3, and then we find that there is a square bracket. So in the recursion we pass something like a, 2, b, c. Now in the recursion we find that it's a character a, so we append that to the string. And then when we find that it's a closing bracket, so we just return that result to this part, and it basically says that we have to repeat 3 times a, so it becomes a, and after that we go again in the recursion, we pass 2, b, c, and then we say here, okay, there is a count of 2 here, so we just say count is equals to 2 here, and in the recursion we pass basically b, c, this, and in this part we see two strings here, so we just append these two strings, and as soon as we find square bracket, we return this here, and we get bc here, and the count is 2, so we repeat it 2 times. So here basically it becomes bc and bc, and we return from here this part bc and bc. And so here what we get is we get a, bc, bc, and this is our final result. So this is just a basic algorithm, or the basic steps which we're going to follow. So this will become more clear when I basically code this on the problem on the LeetCode screen. So let's just try to code it and see how it works, and this will become more clear when we do that here. So let's say we just take a global index just to iterate over the string input and initialize it with 0. And so what we're going to do is we're going to iterate over this index with this string input using this index. Let's check the character at this index position. Now we have few cases which we have to consider, and there are a total of 4 cases. So if c is equals to square bracket, the opening square bracket, then we're going to do something here. If the c is equals to closing bracket, then we have to do something else. If c is a digit, then we're going to do something here. Else we just have to do something. And now we're going to fill all these 4 different cases and basically decode this string. So we're going to take a value called k to check the count, and we're going to build a string or the resultant string. Let's take sb. So when it's just a character, we're just going to append that to this sb or the final string. Let's just rename this sb to the result. It becomes more clear. So we just append that character here. We also increment the character at each step after each operation is performed. If it's a square bracket, and this is the part where the recursion happens. So if it is a square bracket, you first of all skip that square bracket index. So this basically skips this index which contains this opening square bracket. And then in the recursion phase, you just pass that string here. And while the count or the k value is greater than 0, we just append this substring into that final string. So this is the number of times you append this substring to the final string. And that's all we do here in the opening braces clause. If it's a closing braces clause, then we just simply return the string we have formed here. And here we return the final string. So these are the cases. So what happens is, for example, if the input is something like this, 3 A 2 B C. So here so what happens, yeah, we forgot one case where the character is a digit. So here we have to basically create the count. So k is equals to k into 10 plus c minus 0. This basically gets the integer value. It basically converts the character into the integer form. So what this does is this basically converts a sequence of characters which are representing a digit into an actual number. So for example, if it's given 23, then it's going to convert that 23 string into number 23. And this can happen, for example, if the cases are like 23A. So it will be basically 23 times A. So what happens is, for example, if the given case is 3A, 2B, C, so first we get integer 3. We convert that integer using this part into 3 and we hold it over here in the k value. Now when we get square bracket, we just go into this case and we skip the square bracket and pass into the decoded string the remaining value. So the remaining value which becomes here, basically the global index is going to keep hold of that remaining string. So when we pass into the recursion, we are trying to decode something like this. And similarly, after some time, it's going to be decoding something like this. So the substring which it returns it returns just the value inside the square bracket, and this happens because of the square bracket clause. So what happens is when the value becomes a here, something like this, and it sees a closing bracket, it just returns the a value, and you get a here, and you append three times the a, which you hold the count using the k value. It's a very simple algorithm. It's a very simple technique. Let's see and try to run this if it works. So it passes. Let's see and try to submit this. So it passes with 0 millisecond time. And the time complexity of this algorithm should be around order of max value of k, or the value of the count uh, dot the n is the length of the string. Note that this index position is just basically used to keep the substring value, or to analyze which part of the string we are decoding. And this closing square bracket, it returns the value of that small square bracket. So this result.toString contains just the substring. So in this particular case, it can be a or bc. And when you get this a or bc into this substring, this k value iterates over that count and append it as many times as the k is there. So that's all for this video. I hope you find this video helpful, and if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them for me so that I can use them in future videos.